Good morning, guys. Hope y'all are doing well. I'm trying to get you out of the sun. Hope everybody is doing great this morning. Thank y'all for tuning in. We've got a lot of really exciting stuff going on this morning. I'm gonna keep working on our sunlight situation here. I think that's close. Okay, I hope you guys are doing really well. Let's just do a kind of welcome check-in as we start our Sunday school. So if you as you log on, go ahead and type something in the comments section. Would love to hear who we've got and who is here hanging out this morning. All right, as people begin to check in, I want to thank George Littleton, who designed our Holy Trinity Rally Day t-shirt this year. You can see the front of it right here. Rose window in the back, and thanks to the staff for getting those going. If you're watching at home and you're not wearing your Rally Day t-shirt, just run to the closet real quick and throw on a Rally Day t-shirt. Doesn't have to be this year's, could be any year. Find a white shirt and just with a Sharpie, write Holy Trinity on it. That'll work too. But wherever you are, get that Rally Day t-shirt on. Okay, we just had our first 8 o'clock outside parking lot worship service. We did a service of Holy Baptism, and it was really cool. Man, it just felt like Rally Day out there. And I'm kidding you not. So Lucy Baker was a little baby, 7-month-old, that we just baptized. Got her right here. Gail signs her with the Holy Spirit, and huge smile, like as on cue. It was one of the sweetest baptism things I've seen. It was really, really cool. Okay, Steve Adams says, "Good morning, everyone. Rally." Yes, Steve is getting it this morning. Kay and Gates Riddell say, "Good morning, Jeff." Kay and Gates, great to see you guys this morning. Kay and Gates, we're working hard this week out on our new parking lot setup. Appreciate everything that you guys. I was out here with a detail of the men's group helping set up some new playground equipment, and by that I mean they were setting up new playground equipment, and I was like chatting awkwardly. But it was really nice to be with those guys. We're got that going. The day school is going to start with Meet the Teacher and things this coming week. So we've got a lot of exciting stuff going on here at Holy Trinity. Keep checking in as you guys jump on the stream. Jim Norman says, "Good morning from the Normans. Great to hear from you guys. Great to hear from you guys." All right, if y'all keep checking in for a few more minutes. Kyle Monroe says, "Good morning, glad to be here." Now, Kyle was at the 8 o'clock service. He's a newcomer, just moved to town, doing his graduate studies in history here at Auburn University. He's come to the 8 o'clock service, and now he's online. Very impressive, Kyle Monroe. Miriam Clark says, "Good morning." Thank you, Clarks. Great to hear from you guys. Hope y'all are doing well. You guys keep checking in as you jump on the stream. All right, let me share Charlie Block. "I am with you." Yes, you are, Charlie. Great to hear from you. Great to hear from you this morning. Okay, let me do a few announcements as people continue to check in. I hope you received our mailing detailing our new fall schedule. And then I hope you read our weekly email so you know what our plan is this fall. We're going to be offering 8 o'clock worship on the south end of the event lawn, which is going to be Holy Communion. most every Sunday. It was baptism this Sunday, thanks be to God, but it'll be Holy Communion most every Sunday. And then 9 o'clock right here is going to be our Sunday school hour right here on YouTube Live. And then at 9:50, we'll turn off the Sunday school stream and we'll start a new stream, which is going to be special music, organ music from 9:50 to 10. And then 10 to 10:30 will be a spoken service of worship, morning prayer with a sermon. And then at 5 p.m. on a fully shaded event lawn, we're going to do evening prayer with some guitar hymns, very, very casual worship. There's children's chapel at both the 8 o'clock and the 5 p.m. service. So I hope you guys will participate on that as much as possible. I hope you read my article on the Wednesday email this past week, but we've decided this is going to be our schedule through ordinary time. That's the liturgical season that we're currently in, also sometimes called growing season. We're in ordinary time, and ordinary time runs through the end of November when the church year restarts with the season of Advent. So we're not going to attempt to worship in person in this space until the end of November for several reasons that I outlined in my email. But the main reason being, we think this is how we can do our part to support our community. We really want the schools to be open and to resume the plans that they have set in place for the education of our young people this fall. We want the universities to stay open and to thrive and do all the programs that are so important to our community life and to the student body there. And we also want to make sure that we are part of the solution on keeping our medical community and our medical infrastructure from being overwhelmed. And so we can hold back. Not every institution can. I'm glad the schools are open. I'm really glad our first grader is in the classroom with a great teacher and other students. But we have had a lot of fun and experienced a lot of God's blessing in our outdoor worship and in our online worship and fellowship. So we can do that. We can hold back for a little bit. And I think this is how we're going to serve. One of the ways, many ways that we're going to continue to serve our community, to love our neighbor, to die to self and live to Christ through this means. There's some other reasons that again, I outlined in my email. My door is always open. I would love to talk to you about any of this. But I just wanted to make sure that you know what our schedule is, what we're thinking, and what we can look forward to. I'm pretty thrilled about the idea that at some point, Advent 1, hopefully, we'll be back in this space in some capacity, and that'll be a joyous occasion. But in the meantime, I think we have a really good fall schedule of worship outlined for you guys and for us as we continue to be Jesus Christ's church in the world. Okay, announcements. EYC is kicking off. That's our youth group. And if you've got a high school or middle school age child and you're not receiving our emails, let us know, let me know, and we'll put you on the email. They are going to continue to offer a range of offerings, both online and in person and socially distanced. So EYC is going to continue. They're working on a retreat that they're going to do instead of off-site like we've normally done. That's going to happen on campus. It's going to be abbreviated, socially distanced here on campus. We've had an Alpha course that's run this summer that's been really cool. Alpha is this great program. If you're not familiar with it, it emerges from Holy Trinity Brompton in the Church of England. And it basically is a short course in Christianity with opportunities for conversation and fellowship. Bob and Gail ran this short course in Christianity, this Alpha course this summer, has some great fruit of that and great participation. So we're going to offer another Alpha course starting this fall. If you want to be a part of that, let me know, Jeff@holytrinitychurch.info, or Bob or Gail, and we'll get you signed up for that. Any time spent in a program like this is going to help you go deeper in your life in Christ. Alpha is a fantastic formation offering that'll be online starting this fall, so we will let you know. We'll let you know about that. We're working on some exciting stuff in our children's ministries. So we're not able to do Sunday school catechesis of the Good Shepherd like we were accustomed to doing. In truth, because of our construction project, we wouldn't have been able to do that anyway. So what we're planning on doing is 3 or 4 times this fall, we're going to offer Saturday morning retreats for Catechesis of the Good Shepherd outside, some in the day school, where parents can come, drop their kids off, do a morning of Christian formation, some songs and some fun, and then we'll all come back together when the parents pick them up and do like just kind of abbreviated, socially distanced VBS style worship. So I'm pretty psyched about that. And I think actually if parents bring their kids to that and they make that commitment, the kids will end up having as much or more time actually in catechesis of the Good Shepherd than they might have before. So I think we can actually pick up ground on the formation of our young people with this new Saturday morning retreat model. And who knows, maybe this becomes a new time where we really focus on young children's worship. You know, we've worked too hard and we've built too much in this catechesis of the Good Shepherd program to just let it lie fallow for a period of time. So we're going to keep going with this new retreat model. More information about that to come, but I'm very excited to be to participate in that. Also, I should have said when I did our little youth update, the youth are going to continue to do their Eucharist. I don't know if everybody knows about this, but all last year, our youth would do their own worship service and they'd invite friends and it would be a Holy Eucharist. They've been calling it a Eucharist. We had our own Eucharist band. We had musicians from the high school and middle school group actually provide the music. And we have a lot of really talented young people in our church. And so it's really cool to use that mechanism for them to share their talents. I mean, they played music, they did readings, they had a little youth altar guild, they had a little youth setup team. You know, our goal is to form parish-ready Christians who can be sent out into the world as servants. And the way that you do that is you give them ways to serve, you give them ways to do things, and that's worked really well this past year. So we're gonna double down on that and do more Eucharists, again, socially distanced, this coming fall. All right, Gales College Ministry is kicking up soon. I hope you'll check out the website. Gale's done a really brilliant looking brochure that outlines that program this year, which will be again here on Monday nights at 6 p.m. Compline downtown at St. Dunstan's. And then moments on campus as well. We've got a full range of offering for Episcopal student ministries. We're bringing in some guest speakers for Monday night programs. The college student ministry is poised to have another good, really good fall semester. Jane Leland says good morning. Jane must be in the building here somewhere. Very impressive. Jane played for the 8 o'clock service, and she's here for YouTube Live. Jane, thank you very much. Thanks for checking in. Okay, so I'm going to talk for a little bit about what we're going to do in this space for adult Sunday school in the coming year, because I'm very excited about it. Next Sunday, Bob is going to interview, and I'm going to be with him on that, but Bob is going to interview a fellow minister and clergyman named Brant Montgomery. Brant was a parishioner of Bob's in Talladega, was sent to seminary, went to General Theological Seminary, has served several different places, and now serves as a chaplain to a school in Maryland. And Brant is a really good scholar and academic. And writes and thinks about what it is to be an African-American Episcopal minister, an African-American Episcopalian. And he is going to share with us some of his own personal reflections about his own experience from his own perspective, but also the fruit of his theological work around the African-American contribution to not only Christianity, but to the Episcopal Church in general. I have a very good friend from seminary, a guy named Charles Fisher, and we used to laugh together because people would routinely ask Charles, well, what church did you grow up in, right? Assuming that he came from a different tradition because he's African American, not knowing that his granddad was an Episcopal priest, that his family had been Episcopalian in the Mid-Atlantic for many generations. And just kind of laugh about that because it kind of outlines, we forget about the African-American contribution to our church, the legacy of the African-American Episcopal Church, and the genesis of all those things. So Brant is going to be here to help us engage in conversation, and I think he's going to be a really good conversation partner for that going forward. After that, starting the next Sunday, Gail is going to do a class, which I'm very excited about, an intro to Black theology. She's going to lean upon a lot of good sources, namely Howard Thurman and his famous work. It's going to be an opportunity for us again to learn more about this particular strain of Christian thought, so we can be more fully educated on the subject. And I really hope you guys will dig into that material and engage in conversation through the chat feature on this. A lot of y'all participated in a thing we did this summer called the Conversation Project: Gospel, Race, Politics. Those were really, really fruitful, and I want to continue to work on those. We'll offer them probably once a month. We'll do on Zoom like we did before. We'll do one in September, October, November, and in December as well. And I'm hoping that the Gospel Conversation Project can really like be a place to talk about the things that we're learning and discussing in Gail's Sunday school class. So stay tuned for that. This Gail's intro to Black theology. After that, I'm going to do a series on the theological issues in the letters of Paul. It's not a really great title. I don't know if that grabs the attention, but it's going to be really interesting, I hope. And that's going to be based on the work of a scholar recently passed away named J. Lewis Martin. And what J. Lewis Martin realized was that for a long time, we have not understood Paul's arguments. I don't know if this has been y'all experience, but man, sometimes I feel like you crack open that Bible, falls to Romans, falls to Galatians, and it's just kind of clear as mud. It's not sure what Paul's talking about. It's very easy to get lost in it. And what Martin pointed out is that one of the reasons why we can easily get lost in the letters of Paul is we don't know who he's talking to. Right, we don't know what their perspective is. We don't know in Galatians who he's arguing with. And so we only get one side of the conversation, right? Imagine if any of us had a conversation and you only hear one side of it, it's without any context clues, it's very hard to figure out what's going on. So, and one of the reasons why we don't understand a lot about Paul's letters is we have tended to straw man the opponents of Paul, and by straw man I mean like we've sort of constructed his opponents in a way that's easy to knock down, right? So we've focused on Paul's opponents in a way that has not been charitable or even fair, and in some places has been anti-Jewish or anti-Semitic. So what Martin did really with his whole life in ministry and theological work is try to Iron Man Paul's opponents in Romans and Galatians and in other places to really understand what they thought, to put to rebuild their arguments, put them in the most positive terms possible, and then which helps us understand what Paul was saying, and then gives us a sort of greater theological understanding of what the whole project was about. So I hope you'll stick around for that. I actually think what we can develop in a class like that is a better way to read the New Testament, which is more embodied and doesn't unconsciously or accidentally move into the kind of lazy, easy, anti-Jewish tropes which have plagued our understanding of Scripture for a long time. So I'm hoping y'all will dig into that. I'm hoping those are informative, but also entertaining, and hope we emerge from that with a greater lens, with a greater understanding of what Paul's letters are all about. Okay, all right, Mary Pyland. Morning, all. Thank you, Mary Pyland, for checking in. All right, as I start to wrap up, there's a couple more things that I want to make sure that you guys are aware of. We've done a lot of cool things in relational mission over this summer. One of the things I hope that you know about is through our relational mission budget, we've been able to support the Alabama Prison Birth Project in purchasing software and hardware so that the women incarcerated in Tutwiler Prison can maintain their visits and their connection with their children and family, since visits are not happening in Tutwiler. That's one of the things Relational Mission was able to do. On Mondays, we've had a truck out here that's collecting produce, fresh produce out of people's backyard gardens for the food bank of East Alabama. That's been a very cool thing. And something else that I want you to know about, a few weeks ago, our Relational Mission team, Sandra and the others, were contacted by a representative of the hospital who said to them, we know y'all have a good relationship with this community out at King's Trailer Park, and we also know that they've been very hard hit by COVID-19, and we're hoping you can help us network with them so we can just kind of know who they are and minister to them and maybe do some kind of testing on site there. And so the Relational Mission team took that and ran with it, and in a partnership with St. Mary's Church in Opelika, with the King family, with our church, with East Alabama, with the support of the staff here at Holy Trinity, they're actually doing a mobile COVID testing setup this morning and this afternoon out at King's Trailer Park. They sent out flyers this past week, and we're hoping that we get a good response to that. But I want you to know about that because I think it's a good thing, and it's something that these folks need. But also, I think it's really cool that the work that you guys are doing, and I've really just been a participant in this. This has been a lay-led effort, but what you guys are doing in that ministry out at King's Trailer Park is being noticed by the wider community. And that's a very, very cool thing, right? We're not doing it to get noticed, but when God does something, right? When God moves in such a way, the world takes notice, right? I think that's at the core of what witness is. Witness is at its best when it's fully embodied, which is when it's embodied in both word and deed. So I think that's something that I hope you feel very excited about, and even proud, if we can use that, if we can use that term. But in the end, it really is God's work in us, moving through us. So I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. And it's a very cool thing, and hopefully some more partnerships will emerge from this from this project. And I also want to say it's very cool of the hospital to be thinking out of the box, looking for partners, trying to do things like this. I think we're incredibly well served in our community by the hospital, by its leadership, by all the people who work there. It's the way that they have led our community in this time is really beautiful. And so I'm really grateful for them. I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful that we get to play a role in this particular expression of that. Okay, friends, any questions for me? Questions about the coming year? Thoughts? Anything else you want to throw up on the chat before we shut it down and prepare ourselves for worship? Sheila Mehta says, very late joining in. We had the best outdoor baptism ever. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Happy Rally Day. Y'all, this is a rally day I'm never going to forget. I don't know about you guys, but this one is going down. This one is going down in the books. Bill Walsh, Bill and Josie, late. I love the YouTube chat self-identified late thread. I like that. Y'all, Sheila's comments actually made me think about something. I really think at our church, we have turned a corner over the last few weeks, because in the early phases, I think most of my thinking, and I think our thinking in general, has been like, what do we do to get through this difficult time until kind of the old ways come back, or the new normal returns? Like what do we do to grind our way through this period of time? That's where I've been thinking. But I think we've shifted in the last few weeks to a much better place, which is we all crave a new normal. I mean, I crave a new normal just in my whole life. We all have COVID fatigue. So I definitely crave a new normal in my work life and in my Christian life and in my church life. But I think we're coming to realize that the new normal is not going to come to us kind of magically one day. We're going to have to follow Christ toward it, right? We're going to have to experiment toward it. We're going to have to do things that are outside of our comfort zone, outside of our skill set, outside of what we normally do, in an attempt to find what the new normal may be, because we just don't know what it is yet. And that's a pretty, in a way, if you look at it in a certain way, that's an invigorating challenge, right? Because we have this period of time where we're free to fail. We're free to experiment, to try new things. And although it's difficult, this is a very fertile place to grow in faith, because we really are trusting Jesus to lead us into an unknown reality, right? Like, if we are disciples of Jesus, meaning that he has called us and we follow him, if you know where you're going, you don't need a guide. If you know where you're going, what's the point of following someone else? And in our previous life, I don't know, I was pretty comfortable. I had a pretty good sense of what my week was going to look like, of what my year was going to look like. And so now I really am we are being asked to follow Jesus in a way that we've never been asked to do it before. But I think what God will do, and in fact is doing in this midst, is growing our ability to do that, our ability to have faith, to trust, which makes me think about, the language in John when Jesus is saying to the disciples, I go ahead to prepare a place for you. William Temple thought that what Jesus was referencing was the practice of a thing called a dragoman. If you traveled in the ancient world, you had to hire a tough, maybe unsavory Han Solo type character to make sure that you got to where you're going safely. And this dragoman would go over the hill and prepare the campsite for the night, which, to do that, put a lot of trust in this person, right? And what Jesus is he's our dragoman. He's our spiritual dragoman. He goes over the horizon where we can no longer see him. We just have to trust he knows what he's doing and that he has our best interests at heart to prepare the campsite for us. And he doesn't promise that he knows where the next 15 campsites are, just the next one. And I think we're all growing and developing our sense of that. So all that to say, I think what this fall and our fall programming represents, and the excitement we feel on this rally day, I think what it represents is our trusting in God to lead us to a new normal for our church. Not for it to come to us, but for God to use us as the means by which his church finds out how to be faithful in 2020 and going forward. And one of the beautiful things about it is we need all of us to do that. Every one of us. This is the time to pull together as a community. And I think we might find that God does a lot of fruitful things with us in that. Okay. Any other questions or thoughts before I wrap it up and we prepare for worship this morning? I was never really good at leaving silence like in person, and it's even harder on YouTube Live. Hey, thank you, Mary Pylan. Mary Pylan just says, just thinking that those who are ministering at Kings are not only compassionate, but also courageous. Yeah, definitely. I think that's well said. Sheila says, yes, Mary, I agree. Me too. I think it's a great point. Okay, friends, thank you all for tuning in. We'll be a little bit longer next week when we have a full conversation, not just a teaser for Sunday school. Brant Montgomery will be with us to talk about a very important topic. It will be very well worth your time. So tune back in next Sunday at 9. I'm going to go ahead and shut down this stream. Grab a cup of coffee, grab a prayer book. Go put on your Holy Trinity t-shirt, make a Holy Trinity t-shirt. You got about 15, 20 minutes, and join us again on this space for Prelude at 9:50, worship at 10. Thank you all for being with us.